This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday today, which you know what that means, a top 5 video. And today, as you've seen by the thumbnail and the title, I'm talking about 5 pieces of music, in one case an entire album, that I don't think gets the recognition they deserve. Some of these are sort of known about, but often just kind of get overlooked, forgotten about, or perhaps they're just not that well known in the first place. So hence the title, 5 overlooked, forgotten and hidden gems. These are all pieces of music that I enjoy immensely, and they're all linked in the description below. So if there are any of them are new to you, or maybe they're not new to you but you've just forgotten how good they are, then go and check them out via those links. Let's see what they are.
I Got the Music in Me by Kiki D.
This is one of those songs that all of the talent show reality things that my missus tends to watch from time to time. It's always one of those songs that budding contestants will come out with in order to try and progress through to the next round. I've heard a million different cover bands doing this song, and it's so familiar that it just becomes, it's like sort of background, part of the background noise. But go and listen to the original at some point. I often talk in these videos about music where you can feel the eye contact between the people in the studio, where there's the vibe that's going on, where there's that sort of realization amongst all the musicians that they are, you know, part of something that's really working, and this is going to come out really well, and they up their game just a little bit. And this is very much the case with this song here, just the electricity that comes through in this performance by Kiki D and her band. I don't know who were in it, but you know, it's just absolutely electrifying. It's a timeless classic, and I don't think it gets the recognition it deserves. I certainly think it should be regarded as just a classic female rock vocal. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Great atmosphere on this song. If you're familiar with it, but you've just always kind of written it off as just some cheesy 70s hit, I urge you, go and listen to it again. It's just utterly electrifying. I can't stop gushing about this song. I absolutely love it. There's barely a week goes by I don't listen to it. So go and check it out. You might just rediscover a classic that you'd forgotten about. Next.
Rockin' All Over the World by John Fogerty.
Everybody and their dog knows the Status Quo version of this song, and I love that. You know, I think the definitive version of it to listen to is the version from the Live at the NEC album by Status Quo. The definitive version to watch is, you know, just because it was such a special day, is you know, Status Quo performing this at Live Aid. They were the opening act, and this was their opening song, and it was a way, what a way to start that particular day. And it wasn't until much later, well into the 90s, that I heard the original version of this by John Fogerty, and it's different. Which one's better? I mean, I can't really choose between them, but I love this John Fogerty version equally as much as I love the Status Quo version. It's got more of a kind of hillbilly, pickup truck, cowboy hat and cowboy boots kind of feel to it. It's a lot more country, I guess is what I'm saying, but it's still rocking. And John's Telecaster tone on this is just like, it's like, you know, if you want to know what a Telecaster bridge pickup needs to sound like, then go and listen to this song. I might be proven wrong. It might have been played by some, you know, LA session guy on I don't know, a jazz master or something, but it sounds like the the ultimate Telecaster tone, just a good raucous rocking version of this song, and John's signature gravelly kind of whiskey gargling voices on fine fettle on this song. Fantastic version, completely different to the Status Quo version, and for that reason alone, go and check it out. Go and check out the origin of this song that you're probably very familiar with by the Quo's version, but this is an entirely different take and just as good. So there you go. Next.
Drink the Bottle Down by the Stray Cats.
I've mentioned this song many times before in these videos. It was the B-side to the Stray Cat Strut, and I would say this and probably Key to the Highway by Derek and the Dominos. I was sort of discovering the blues around about that sort of time that the Stray Cat Strut was out, and all the spooky chords and kind of altered scales that Brian uses on that, kind of got me a little bit jazz curious. But the B-side is a live recording at Newcastle City Hall. It's got some of the most fiery, virtuoso blues guitar playing from a 22-year-old Brian Setzer at the time. Brian doesn't sing on the song. I think it's Lee Rocker, the bass player in the Stray Cats. He takes the lead vocal on this. And I will admit, if there's one thing I don't like about this song, Lee Rocker's vocal is, I wish Brian had sung it. Let's just leave it at that. But Brian was busy playing some amazing, amazing blues guitar. And as I say, this is around about the time I was starting to discover Clapton via the Layla album, Key to the Highway on there. There's that famous clip of Buddy Guy that's up on YouTube, and Blues Let Me Be, I think that's the song, where he's absolutely rattling the whatever out of a Guild Starfire. What a virtuoso performance. I remember seeing a clip of that on TV when I was really young as well. This is one of the big three songs that made me prick up my ears and start listening to blues. And just bear in mind, as you're listening to it, Brian Setzer is 22 years old when he played this. Utterly amazing. Next.
The Snow Goose album by Camel.
I honestly think this album should be regarded in the same way that Dark Side of the Moon is regarded. It is an absolutely beautiful suite of tunes from Camel, Andy Latimer and co. Camel did sort of go off the boil a little bit. I don't know, is there still a version of them touring now? But I mean, the last album of theirs I think I listened to was Harbour of Tears, and it was just forgettable, I thought. But the Snow Goose, Moon Madness, that's another one of their great albums. I think once you get to the late 70s and I Can See Your House From Here, that album, it's starting to kind of go off the boil a little bit. But if you want to listen to what Camel are all about, then listen to this album. Beautiful, heart-rending melodies. It's based on what it actually is. It's the soundtrack to a book, The Snow Goose by Paul Gallico, which is a tragic story of friendship and kind of. I won't spoil. Just go and read the book. Google it. You'll find out what the book is all about. But basically, it takes about the same amount of time to read this little novella as it does to listen to the album. And the book was intended as a soundtrack to that album. The album was intended as a soundtrack to the book. I beg your pardon. Just beautiful, beautiful music. Whole range of human emotion expressed. Happiness, joy, sadness, loss, fear, anger. It's just all in there, and it's just so well put together. And if we're talking about big prog rock albums from the 70s, people talk about Topographic Oceans by Yes and Dark Side of the Moon and Lark's Tongues in Aspic and all of the usual suspects. This album never gets a mention, so that's why I'm banging the drum for it now. If you're new to Camel, if you're new to this album, then please, I urge you, go and listen to this out. Headphones on, kind of turn your phone off or put it on silent and just listen to this album. It is an experience I promise you will enjoy. You get to the end of it and it's that sort of feeling that you get when you've had a really satisfying meal. It's just a really cathartic and pleasant experience. I adore this album. Can you tell? Next.
Rex Bob Lowenstein by Mark Jimeno and the Sluggers.
Back in the early 90s, there was a bit of a resurgence in the singer-songwriter genre, wasn't there? I mean, guys like Mark Cohn, who had that big hit with Walking in Memphis that Cher later did a rather inferior version of, I thought. Even bands that weren't a singer-songwriter were kind of marketing themselves as singer-songwriters. Remember Danny Wilson, Mary's Prayer? That was a few years earlier, but everybody thought that was a singer-songwriter kind of guy called Danny Wilson. It wasn't. It was a band that called themselves that. But anyway, one guy who came out back then, I thought was a real contender for to become a big star, was Mark Jimeno and his band The Sluggers. I discovered this track on the Saturday afternoon Radio 1 thing. Basically in the early 90s, Radio 1, if you're not from the UK, Radio 1 is the sort of top 40 BBC station, okay? And then every Saturday afternoon they would kind of kick out all of the teeny boppers and do some kind of more mature music. It was on from about 1 p.m. till 6 p.m. Big long show, live performances by studio guests, interviews with the great and the good. I remember that's where I first heard about the Travelling Wilburys, because they were interviewing Jeff Beck and Tom Petty on there about this new project they were doing. And this song was on regular rotation on this Saturday afternoon show. It tells the story of a small town American radio DJ who plays music by big rock bands, and he plays the band from the college up the street. And then it's one of these real story songs that's really kind of well put together. And the radio station is bought out by some big conglomerate, and they don't like the format of his show, so he locks himself in the studio and just plays the music he wants to play. It's a great song. It's heartwarming and tragic at the same time. It'll leave you with a big smile on your face, and it's got a fantastic sing-along chorus. What's not to like? So Rex Bob Lowenstein by Mark Jimeno and the Sluggers. That is my fifth choice for undiscovered, what did I say at the beginning of the video? Overlooked, forgotten and hidden gems. As I say, all links to these songs down in the description. Go and check them out. And that is the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it entertaining. Hopefully you've found maybe one or two new pieces of music that you can enjoy from this. And if you've enjoyed it for any other reason, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. We just have a beer and a chat, basically. Nothing more complicated than that. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.